Welcome. In front of me is a SONY Xperia 5 Mark IV, and today I'll show you a couple tweaks and the tricks you can do on this phone. So let's just jump straight into it by opening up Settings. And in here, we're going to navigate first to Display, where we'll find several different things that I want to showcase. So let's start off with high refresh rate. Now, by default, for some reason, this will be apparently turned off, so I recommend turning it on. You paid for the full device, you might as well use the full device. And what this will do is just simply enable your higher refresh rate. So I'm not sure if this will be picked up on the camera, but once you scroll up and down with the typical 60 Hz, it just looks choppy and kind of not very fun for a device that is supposedly a flagship. So I recommend turning that on. It doesn't look like there is... See, so it's really small display, turn it off. Okay, so it doesn't really state anything about having a lower refresh rate when the device is not doing anything, like right now. Which, if it's running always at 120, it might drain your battery a little bit quicker, so that is something that you might want to keep in mind. But if you don't mind it, then obviously this kind of feel of everything being nice and smooth, I would argue is significantly better trade-off than having the device feel choppy and kind of like it's outdated. Now moving on to the next thing, which is also under the display, it's going to be the dark mode. So in here it's called, I think, dark theme. There we go. You can enable this and it will enable a system-wide dark mode. Now, because this is using an OLED display or AMOLED display, the pixels that are fully black are also turned off, so you might get a little bit of a battery advantage on top of just a dark look to your device. And additionally, you can also have it mixed, so if you don't want to have dark mode all the time, you can tap on this text, and here you have the option to select it to be on a schedule, meaning that you can have it on during nighttime like right now, and during the daytime the device will switch back to light mode. Now moving on to the next thing, which again, sticking with the display section, is going to be the smart backlighting control, which, where was it? Or maybe it wasn't here? Oh, there we go. I'm just kind of a little bit blind here. So smart backlight control, there we go. Now, based on the definition right here, what it does is, when enabled, keeps the screen on as long as the phone detects that you're looking at it. So I assume it might be using front-facing camera just so it can check if you're looking at it. It's not really specified right here, it just specifies that smart backlight control automatically detects if you're holding your Xperia in your hand. Not really saying how if you're holding it in your hand, so if you have a problem with a front-facing camera being used for that, you might want to stay away, but it also could be that it's not using it at all. I don't know. But because of this, you could turn down the amount of time it takes the device to time out and just put the device into sleep, and kind of like it's going right now. So with this enabled, if I would be looking at the device, which the device can't really see me looking at it because it's on the table and I'm like at an angle, if I were looking at it, it would just keep the display on for as long as I'm looking at it, no matter what the timeout on the actual backlight is. So there we go. Now moving on to the next one, it's going to be the always on display. Now that is under the appearance. You have the ambient display, and from here you can have when to show. You can have it always show when the device is lifted. It's a pretty nice option to save the battery, or smart activated, which I don't really know. Show ambient display when necessary, such as when walking, taking the device out of your pocket, and other situations. Now this might be useful if it works, which is a big if. So if it works smoothly, this could be probably one of the better options to have. So you take it out of your pocket, boom, it just shows you the always on display. You can get a quick glance at all the info that you need. You put it back and it turns it off. So should save the battery pretty nicely, but also give you some additional info. And I believe also just tapping on it once. Nope, tapping on it once doesn't do anything. I was thinking that tapping on it once would light up the always on display, but it looks like it does not do it. Now anyway, moving on to the last thing that I want to show you, it's going to be the gesture navigation, which you can find under the system and gestures. Now we also have several other gesture things that we can find in here. So not only the system navigation, but we have things like power menu. So hold for assistant, which is enabled by default. If you don't want that, you can turn it off, and this will then bring back the typical power menu, which is pretty nice. Now we also have jump to camera on. So press the power button twice to jump to the camera. If you don't like this, or maybe you're activating it by mistake sometimes, you can turn it off. We have one-handed mode, which is disabled. So I believe you just like swipe down on here to enable it. And we have a couple additional things. So you can go through it, enable the ones that you want, but the one that I wanted to show is the gesture navigation. So let's select this one. And as you can see, it removes the buttons from the bottom, substitute this for this little bar. And now you can swipe up on it to go home, swipe up and hold to go to recent, and swipe from either side to go back. Pretty nice and intuitive way of navigating to your phone. Now, with this being said, this would conclude the tweaks and tricks that I want to show you. So if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.